Hi viewers, welcome to NCKHUB. If you like our videos, kindly do subscribe and follow us. Thank you.
Series. Today we are going to discuss about virtual machines, how to deploy a virtual server and deployment of web server. We are going to have a look. This session is in connection to the previous session, which we have created a virtual network. With connection to the previous virtual network, we are going to attach a subnet and we are going to create a virtual machine. So let's start. So this is the virtual machine, Azure Services, or else you can go to from the menu. You can click on all services. From the all services, navigate to the instances or servers or virtual machines. From there, you can start clicking on creating a virtual machine. So left hand side, if you can see guys, we can have the complete visibility of all the services. So from this, you can go to compute or else directly you can do click on virtual machine. Anything is feasible, which you are comfortable. So here you can see this is the virtual machine. So which gives in details virtual machine. I think already you people are aware. Virtual machine is nothing but a server where we can do create Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. Depending upon our server customization requirement, we can do create. So altogether, it is a server where virtually we can do host a server with an IP address. It can be public or private. Backend, we have to establish certain connections with public and private, and those connection needs to be enabled. So here I am going to create a virtual machine, guys. So rather than regularly creating, already we have created previously an step-by-step procedure of Azure virtual machine in the starting sessions. Today we are going to take a preset configuration. So if you can see here, Azure virtual machine preset configuration. This is a new topic which we are going to continue while creating the virtual machine. This is the second one. Already if we have a pre-configuration, then it will do prompt as if you do select which environment you are going to use, dev environment, test, or production environment. Here we have group of series like D series, E series, and F series. So regularly if we do create means it won't ask any type of customization that needs to be implemented in our environment level. Here I am going to take a server and I am going to deploy inside the server of Windows and Linux with a web server. So hence I am taking a dev or test environment. That means we are going to create a development or testing in QA environment. Okay, where we can modify our required activities. So here if you can see default is D series and memory optimized E series and computation optimization is F series, D, E, F. So each series will have different variation. If you can see example, here it is providing with 2 cores, 4 cores of CPU, 7 and 14 GB in D series. But while coming to E series, it is extra. That means it is chargeable as well. And this is used for SAP HANA applications and other languages. Similarly, workload with batch processing, or if you want more gaming systems, gaming applications, you can do prefer F series. Likewise, the different systems we have. Currently, I'm selecting default D series and I'm going to create a virtual machine. So here is the details we have to select. Already, if we have a subscription, add it and add the required series of which we are following actually resource group of Azure series that I'm going to create. I am naming it as Azure series VM. Azure series -VM01 I am going to create. So as previously in our network, if you can remember Azure series virtual network VNet we have created in the US Eastern region, in the US East region. The same I'm going to select here and I am opting zone 1 and the selected security group will be trusted virtual machines. You can do select or standard as per your requirement. So I am going to select here trusted. So next after that one, this one we are going to check the standard 4 cores and see how much it is going to charge, all these details. So if you can create guys a standard D series, it is going to charge around 22,000. So if you are opting an other service which can charge 1 core as we are using for training program, I'm going to select this one 7,000. Okay. So next we have to name our server. Example, if you can see here, I'm going to name AZ series dev user. Okay, this user I am going to save it in a notepad. So this is the username which I have added, and the password I will take as previously I have shown you. Every time whenever we do use, take a random password generator. Generator. So I'm going to use this random password generator all the times. It gives a good way of every time a new password will be created in a randomly depending upon our requirement, 15 or 12, whatever the requirement will be. So copy this, and I'm going to save this, and I will be using the same password, guys. So I recommend, if you are preferring, you can use the same in detail. Don't use my server, guys, with my username and password. Okay. So as after this session, probably I will be terminating, or I can be stopping the server. It won't be useful for you. So hence, here I am going to use initially allow selected ports. Here I am allowing 3389 port. So if I want to allow HTTP, HTTPS, so I have to add HTTP and HTTPS. So now I am going to opt Windows Server first. Next, after that one, we will do check altogether with a Linux as well. So here next, add disks. If you want any disk space extra, D drive, E drive extra, if you want, you can do opt it these spaces. If you don't want, you can do ignore it. So as a premium redundant, if you add more, it is going to change your cost. Right side you can see this is going to increase, change the cost. Can you see estimated monthly cost 8,000? So if I can change this now to P15, it is going to change. So similarly, if you want a 127 GB, the pricing around 8866. So if I select 128 GB, 8866. So if you want premium SSD, standard SSD, or else whatever your requirement will be. So platform manager, sorry, store standard SSD, standard HDD, premium SSD, all these will be very charging, very high charging. Let's have a look if you want. So this is the one, redundant storage. And if you select premium, let's have a look at the premium. As this is premium, the name itself it is there. Very premium, guys. 9,000 it went from 7,000. So now I am going to select a locally redundant storage with 7,000. Next, immediately key management. If you want to create a key management, customer manager keys or a platform manager keys, anything key securely, it will be available to you. You can do save it. So next, prefer the networking. So if you can remember, guys, in the previous session, we have created VNet Azure series. Can you see? So this is the one which we can do use. If not, if you want to allow this with as VM01 testnet server also, test server VNet also, you can do use with the default. So if we can use VNet Azure series, this is our one, this is our subnet. So default which is going to connect, and public IP it is new. Similarly, we have to allow network interface card, guys. This is as part of network security group, which all will be firewalls, which will be activated and allowed like ingress and outgress. Ingress means inbound rules to allow who can connect, like 40, 80, 443, 3389, all this. So accordingly, you have to select all this. If you want to delete the IP, public IP, as this is chargeable, after the terminating the virtual machine, you can do select this one. And if you want load balancers, please select the load balancer and gateway. So next I am going to management. So here, if you want a Defender, by default, Microsoft will provide cloud providers for Windows a Defender. If you want extra identity, like previously in the section, we have discussed, if you want an identity management, enter ID, then enable this one and you can do. That is chargeable. I remember, I think you have seen my previous video, guys, which we have discussed about enter ID. If you want to willing to use, you have to pay for that one. Accordingly, you can do make use of this one. Next, if you want any guest voice, you can do enables. Now I am going to add, I'm not going to add any guest voice. So if you want any alerts for the server to trigger to the email, you can do add. So those like it will do send an email to your email ID. So like this, in case of anything, if the server is down, if the server is up, like this. So this is the email configuration, which you can do call it as alert rules. Okay. So like this, as this is multiple things are there, if it is adding alert, so automatically pricing is going to increase. Can you see 686 instead of 686? Now it is going to vary to 744. So all these will be charging, guys. So kindly remember. So next, click on next. Next, take the advanced. So if you have any extensions, automatically add it. Or if you have user data custom any data script array like that, you can do it. Next, after this one, just review and click on create. In case of any errors or issue, it will do showcase you all the details here. So finally, the estimated cost will be 9,902 rupees INR per hour. Okay. So this way we can do create our server, guys. So let's create and try to have a quick login to the server. So if you can see, guys, the server is being generating and is in progress. The deployment is going to start soon. It is going to establish connection with a Windows network, and finally it is going to get launched soon. So let it launch. So it has started creating V series and virtual machine, all these details. The deployment is in progress as of now. So let's wait for a while. And after this, we will try to connect to the server. If you can see, guys, the alert notification which we have created, it is going to launch these alerts as well. If you can observe, as of now, resource group has been created, network security, and alert has been started, and all these deployment has been completed. Let's go to the server now. So if you can see, guys, the server has been started and is in running mode. If you want to stop the server, you can have to click here, and you can check out the IP address is here, and availability zone is 1. And these are the details of the system. So let me try to open my email as well parallelly, where we can do check it out our notification alert as well about the server when it is turned off or turn on altogether. You can see the alert has been you have been added to a Azure Monitor Action group, where this is the resource group name. Can you see, guys? Yes. So this is the resource group name which we have created. So the wow, wonder to see. So the alert has been successfully configured, guys, to the Azure virtual machine or virtual instance. So let's connect to the address of the server. We will try to connect to the instance. Let's by doing it RDP, and we'll discuss about this is the monitoring. The server will be having availability and CPU, where you can do see disk bytes, virtual machine availability, CPU size, and similarly capability of the service, Windows Admin Center, and recommendations if we have any. So all those. So let's connect to the server, guys. So which is a Windows 2016 data center. We are going to connect now. So let me open my RDP. So I have opened my RDP, guys. Let me copy the IP address. So this is the IP address of my server. And if you can remember, we have saved already all our credentials. So here, if you can see, this is AZ series, and we can do connect to our server with the username, and we are going to connect now. So if you can see, connection has been established, guys. Now I am going to add the password to launch a Windows server and deploy IIS web server. So let's try to connect to the server, and from there we will be enabling certain things and activities, and we will be launching our IIS web server inside this remote server. Wow, the server has been configured and it is loading successfully, guys. If you can see, this is the AZ series dev user which we have used. Wow, pretty good. It sounds good. I think you people are wondering and waiting for this only. When the server, what is the server, how this server is going to be used, and when this server will be logged in. Like this, I hope you people are wondering to watch it. So if you can see, guys, this is the virtual server, which you can see. A virtual server is nothing but it can be located anywhere on site or off site, wherever the environment. Virtualizing server, converting a physical server into multiple activities via the internet. If we do perform multiple activities to connect one among multiple users, we can do establish all these things, we can do establish connections. So virtual server defined as a virtual server recreates functionality of a dedicated physical server. If you can consider, this is my local. So it defines as a dedicated physical server functionality it will do, and it provides and it gives us a server manager also. Okay, so it exists transparently to the users. Whenever, wherever the user wants to log in, he can be logged into the RDP and the particular user can log in. So likewise, we can do make use of server login like this. So in the meantime, when it launches server manager, so let's go back and check it out. The drive space what we have taken, and by going into the C drive. So this is our C drive, guys. So if you can see, it is provided with a temporary storage, and this is the 128 GB which we have taken. If you can remember, initially we have standard HDD and premium SD. Likewise, these are the drive spaces. So now, how to install or configure IIS web server? That is our next topic. Now, from the server manager, I'm going to add certain roles and feature. So, so let's wait for a while. So let's wait for a while till it loads. It is being loading state as of now. If you can see the error which it was thrown, it's not an error, just a warning. So, okay, well, wow, guys, happy to see that server has been launched. This is the virtual server. A virtual server, it is nothing but it is a recreates a functionality which is a physical server. If you can see, this is my physical server, guys. This physical server is going to replicate with the functionality of physically, which is going to be available transparently to the users. That server is easy to reallocate users and adopt our dynamic workloads. We can do increase our space, memory, and everything. So let's concentrate on checking on our C drive, D drive, guys, which we have opted our drive space. If you can recall, this is the premium SSD 128 GB we have collected. This is the one you can see which is available now, 126 GB almost. And they had provided a temporary storage, guys. This is the temporary storage which you can see. Let's go back to the server manager. So this is the server manager. Here, our next goal is to deploy IIS web server. So now click on roles and features. I'm going to add. Next, click on next. So this is role based. Next, here in the right hand side, now you are going to see IIS web server. So that is our next task. So next, click on next. And next we have to select server roles. Here, if you can see, guys, if you want Active Directory, you can do enable these. If you want a hypervisor, you can do enable this. You can make this server automatically to Linux as well, whereby deploying using certain tools that we do see in our next upcoming sessions. So if you want an IIS web server, the current target is to deploy a web server, that is Internet Information Services, which is we are going to use a web server here in Windows, which it supports Internet Information Services. It is an extensible way of application software which will be used for .NET framework and working as a web server. So web server, most probably you people are aware, we have different flavors of web servers: IIS, Tomcat, Apache. Likewise, different application server, Wildfly. So multiple web servers are there. So among these web servers, we are going to prefer in this session IIS web server. We are not going to use any Jigsaw or Sun Java or Lightspeed or anything, or even Tomcat Apache. It supports in Linux. So currently here we are going to check it out only IIS web server. So if you can see what is a web server before installing it. So web server is a program which process certain number of requests via this HTTP or HTTPS web server only. We can do establish or create web pages, which dedicatedly works with the hypertext transfer protocol. The main motive of HTTP and HTTPS is to map the end user to connect to the applications via the browser, like Facebook, Instagram, or Gmail, like this. These will be created and deployed inside initially a web server. Then from this web server, our application HTTP and HTTPS are going to connect. So this is a web server, guys. This is the definition of web server, how you can do call it is or prefer. Web server is a program which process the requests of the user and the servers with files to create certain web content and process it to the end user, okay, which implements HTTP and HTTPS. So this is about the definition. Next, adding the features, click on next. So if you want any .NET framework, here we are going to use a .NET framework as well as part of this deployment. So now click on next and next. So finally we'll be coming to the role services. If you can see, if you want to add any tracing and requests and security added extra with firewalls, already these will be coming by default from the Azure. So moreover, if you want any extra security, you can do it. And management tools, if you want IAS, currently 6 management compatibilities, that also you can do enable. I'm going to click on next and I'm going to install it. So this is the way of how to deploy a web server inside a Windows. So this is about IIS web server deployment and installation, guys. So this way we can do install or deploy IIS web server inside a Windows. So this is about how to deploy or install a web server inside a Windows. So this session, I hope it had given a great knowledge and understanding to you how we can do deploy a web server in Windows. So if we want, we can do monitoring of the server as well, guys. So if you can see, this is the live monitoring. So if you can see, there are 2 events. So if you can see, this is the availability preview, this is the CPU, and this is the disk bytes, the data which is available as of now. So this way you have to configure your metrics as well, where you can do configure and you can do monitor. So I'm just clicking on overview now. I'm going back to the server. This is a IIS web server, guys. Finally, it has been installed. It took some time. Uh, you can see at my right hand side of the screen, I'm just closing this one. So you can see this is the IIS web server. So I'm just opening this one. This is the IIS. So if you want to have a look into the details, this will be the server. This will be the online performance counters. So once this server is installed, we can do test our web server as well, where we can do enter HTTP localhost, and if we can do refresh our web page, it will do load. This page can't be displayed, is going to get change. This way we can do test. So now I am going to refresh this one. So this way we can do add our local host or else IP address with an 80 port, and we can do. Now guys, so this is the format how we can do test our IIS web server is being connected and it is working or not. We can do check it out like this. So this is the official website of IIS. It will do launch like this. Once the application of web server is connected, it will do showcase you welcome image, and you can do test manually using a command as well, get hyphen service space W3SVC. So this is using command where you can do check worldwide web service connection is established or not. This way you can do set up your IIS web server. If you liked our videos, kindly please do watch more for regular content and latest content, guys. Like this, we will be updating regularly latest videos. Thank you. As now we have completed the Windows server. Now we are going to deploy a Linux web server, guys. In the Linux, we are going to deploy a Tomcat Apache web server. So in this Tomcat Apache web server, I have already started selecting the server. So these are the details, and I'm going to select here Ubuntu. So if you can see 24 is the 22, 20 like this. So I'm going to select a 22. So nothing like that. You can do select anything, and you have to allow the specific port which is required and allowed by the server. So if you have any key pair, you have to allow this with respect to the user. This is with respect to the generate a key pair. If you don't want SS public key, you can add username and password. That username and password you can add depending upon is user hyphen dev environment if you are using like this. Password previously how the way we have taken, likewise you can do it. So there will be a different ways where you can do add like this. So which will do prompt when you are logging into the server. Directly you can do connect to the console as well using the connect option. So here the ports will be allowed. Selected ports SSH22. Previously we have used for Windows 3389 port. So those will be the difference. If you not want use any password, you can do SS public key. If you compare this in AWS, we don't have a password. We will be having a SSH public key where we will be creating a key and deploying that key, and we will be connecting. So likewise, you can do select the key as well if you are preferring, and you have to name the key, and a key pair will be generated for you. So this is the concept of key pair where name the public key. So key pair will be, if you can see, EAZ key pair. I'm just naming it. This will be in the form of PEM file. So next add disks. And if you want any default space, select all those. So if you want a standard, select the standard. So click on next networking. And previously I forgot to showcase you. There will be an alert, right? So that alert, if we do turn off the server, if you can see server 3 has given alert availability, virtual machine. It is fired. That means it is deleted. So this is the one which I forgot, guys. I just showcase you. So this is the Azure Test VNet, and this is Azure V series, which we have in our previous session. We have discussed about VNet series as part of our Azure networking classes. So the next add management console. So delete public IP and NIC when VM is deleted. Click on next and enable the monitoring, all these details which are preferred. If you want again alert, you can. Already we have previously enabled and shown you. Now I am going to not add any alert system as of now. So let it deploy first, and next after that we will do connect to the server, guys. So for the Ubuntu or Linux server, it will be ask you download the private key and create resource. There will be one method and return to create a virtual machine. So there will be two things which you can do opt here. SSH key pair already we are planning to download, so we will do use this one. Right? And next after that one, it will do create a resource. That is going to happen. So this is the AZ key pair which was downloaded just now. So let it launch the virtual machine. So virtual machine Jami server is in progress as of now. It's going to deploy a Linux server. If you can see, guys, the resource has been deployment completed. Now I am going into the resource which has just created. Now we will quickly connect to the instance. There will be multiple ways to connect to the Ubuntu, where you can do connect directly with SSH, and you can go to the connect button, and from there you can do launch as your instance deployment. Or else you can use here Cloud Shell. From the Cloud Shell, you have to SSH your server, or use Git Bash, where you have to allow the server with proper connection, and you have to allow that SSH key, then it will be connected. Or else you can do use putty. Whichever you are comfortable, you can do use that one. So if you are using Azure portal, you can do use this one or this one. And if you want to bash in, you can do use this one. So now I am going to connect to the cloud Azure CLI. So from here, if you can see, I'm going to opt it. So it is going to connect now, validating. So if you can see, this is the IP address, which you can see 20, 106, 185, and 236. So it is going to configure and connect now. So let it connect and establish a connection with Microsoft. So now if you can see, port 22 has been successful, public IP has been launched, Entra ID and prerequisites are yet to load. Once the machine is loaded, we have to update and do the patches, regular patches of security and server updates. Next, after that, we will do deploy a Linux web server. If you can see, guys, all the prerequisites has been completed. It is connecting to the terminal now, which you can see requesting a cloud shell. It is going to succeed. Yes, finally it has been connected with Azure Resource Group. All these details it can just we have to allow this. Yes, our key pair has been connected and it is permanently authenticating as of now with our IP address 21.0.6.185.236. So it has been authorized now. Now I am going to do sudo space apt-get update. So this is the regular command we do use to update our once any point of time. Once the server is up and running, you have to update your server. And you can run the upgrade all as well. Sudo space apt upgrade all. This is one such command where you can do add. Even if it is forcefully fails, we can do enter one more command. We can add. It will throw. Sorry, there is a typo mistake. Let me add the. So if we do upgrade once this command, so it is going to upgrade everything inside the server. If you can see the packages, security, everything is going to upgrade. So if you give full upgrade, that will do full upgrade as well. There is one more command. So as of now, I'm not going to enter that one. This upgrade is fine enough. Next, after this one, we can do install Apache, which is a HTTP. So all available on this host. So finally, we have installed our Apache web server. This is the Linux web server, guys, where we will be using HTTP. So if you can see, this is the way we can do test. It is active and running. So here comes to close the today's session. We have installed IIS web server in Windows and Apache 2 or web server in Linux. So, and we have tested both the web servers, which I have shown you how an application can be tested and shown you. So if you can see, this is the syntax, okay. And we are going to run now curl space HTTP. Oh, there is something which I have to run, curl space localhost, I mean to say. So if you can see guys, this is the HTTPD application, how it has been launched a web server. So that means locally we have tested, this is running, curl space localhost is running, document type modified Debian for local original for Ubuntu. So this is way we can do create and deploy entire our deployment of a web server inside a Linux. So that's it for today guys. I'm closing the session, just winding up. Today we have seen IIS web server installation and HTTPD installation of Apache in Linux. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos and want more content like this new content, please subscribe our channel. Thank you very much and bye.